Time for Commitment 2010 election news. Peter Carlisle recently stepped down as Honolulu prosecutor to run for Honolulu mayor. So now the city prosecutor's office will be looking for a leader. And for the rest of this week, we'll be talking to the three main candidates running in the September 18th primary: Keith Kaneshiro, Franklin Don Picaro, and Darwin Ching. And joining us this morning is a state labor director and candidate for city prosecutor, Mr. Ching. Sir, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Good morning.
There's so many questions I want to ask you. Let me start you with this one. A brutal situation on Friday, a double murder, suicide involving a 13-year-old girl, one of the victims. As city prosecutor, what can you do to prevent things like this from happening?
That's a real tragedy. There are a couple apparent things about that case that should jump out at everyone. First, we're not tracking the people in that kind of situation. That is, when the people who have problems are let out of the state hospital, they're just let out into the streets. The prosecutor's office has to become part of that process. They have to be part of the tracking. They have to be part of watching these dangerous criminals. If we don't do that, we're going to have those kind of situations. So that's one of the things that we need to focus on and do.
How would you do that? Now, how do you protect victims and possible victims of domestic violence as far as temporary restraining orders? Is there anything that you as a city prosecutor would propose?
Well, there are many things we can do. First of all, with respect to those who are coming out, as I said, from the state hospital, they're just let out into the streets. There's hardly any tracking. We need to have the prosecutor's office involved in the hearings that let them out. We need then to be part of the tracking process. That's going to take a combination of different things, one of which will be changing the statute, one of which will be getting some kind of computer system into the system where we can watch what they're doing, and then giving that information to the police and giving it to the prosecutors so we can do and take proactive actions.
All right. How safe is Oahu right now, in your opinion?
Safety is always an issue, and let me put it this way. I woke up on Father's Day to the headline, "On Oahu, Crime is Up." We have a continuing ICE epidemic. That should tell us that what we're doing in the past in terms of fighting crime, that all of that isn't working. We need to change our approach. We need to have a new proactive approach. That's what I'll bring to the prosecutor's office.
Now, Keith Kaneshiro, of course, he was a prosecutor before. Peter Carlisle was elected. Don Picaro has been a city prosecutor. He's been working in that office for years and years now. Why are you, Mr. Ching, more qualified than those two men to be the next city prosecutor of Honolulu?
Because I have the broad-based experience, a proven track record. I've been effective in my crime fighting. Let me go back and tell you about what I've been doing. First, I was a teacher. Then I was lucky enough to become a student in the first graduating class of the University of Hawaii School of Law. I then went on to become a law clerk. I was a deputy attorney general. I then went to the prosecutor's office, and there I rose to become the district and family court supervisor, as well as the head of the white-collar crime unit. I became a supervisor within 3 years. After that, I went to private practice, and most recently, I was the state director of labor and industrial relations. And by the way, Dan, I resigned on June 15th to commit full-time to running for this race. At the Department of Labor, I had 650 employees. I had 17 divisions and attached agencies. I had a budget of combined state and federal budget of over $100 million in combined state budget. And so I was the person who had a top executive experience to run that department. And all of that puts me now into a position where, because of my commitment to fighting crime, I'm at the right time and place to do that effectively.
All right, Darwin Ching, he's running for city prosecutor here in Honolulu. Sir, thank you very much for being here, and we hope to get you back on the newscast before the September 18th primary.
I look forward to that. Thank you.
And we shall say that we interviewed Keith Kaneshiro. That interview and this interview will be posted on our website, kitv.com, and tomorrow we'll be interviewing Mr. Picaro, the third candidate for Honolulu prosecutor. Coming up next.